Hello everyone, my name is Adam. I'm a professional graphic designer and animator based in Casablanca, Morocco. And in this course, I'm going to teach you how you can use colors effectively like a true professional graphic designer. Now, I do understand that colors can be tricky and a real challenge for designers, but it's also one of the most important tools that you can have to convey a client's message. So if you're having this problem while each time you're using color and you're thinking, what combination do I use? Is this the right color to choose? This course is for you. So here's what you will be learning. First thing first, we will discuss the color wheel. Then I'm going to be explaining some basic terms. After that, we'll talk about different color systems. And then we will discuss how color interacts with one another. We're also going to be talking about different techniques to create a color palette to suit your projects. And then I'll show you how we can work with color and images, and then color and illustration, and color and type. And my favorite part of the course is colors and data visualization. We're also going to be talking about how to use colors in branding. And finally, I'm going to give you a PDF with 10 basic rules to work with colors properly. So the course name is Color Theory and Application. So everything we discuss in theory, I will show you how you can apply it in real world projects. So I'm going to show you how you can work exactly with different coloring tools in Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop. So without further ado, see you inside the course.
In this lecture, I'm going to be explaining the famous color wheel. So we have artists and designers and scientists. All have developed numerous models to visually compare colors and how they interact with one another. These models and diagrams are commonly used to show the relationship between different colors on the color wheel. Designers and other visual artists often use the subtractive color model when mixing colors, because it most closely mimics when pigment is put on a reflective surface. We will talk more about different color systems and how to use them in later lectures, but for now I'm going to be using the classic red, yellow, blue color spectrum as discovered by Sir Isaac Newton in 1665. This is pretty much how he organized colors around a wheel. So let's explore the relationship between colors by understanding how colors are mixed and combined in the color wheel. So with mixing the colors, first we have primary colors. These are pure colors like red, yellow, and blue. They can't be mixed from other colors. All the other colors on the wheel are created by mixing primary colors. Secondary colors are purple, green, orange. Each consists of two primaries mixed together in equal amounts. Tertiary colors. These are located between primary and secondary hues on the color wheel and have more of one primary color than the other. How a tertiary color appears will depend on which primary color is dominant in mixture. Like yellow-green, for example, has more dominant yellow than green in the mixture. That's it for how colors are mixed, and now let's move on to the universal basic color combinations. First, we have analogous colors. Refer to a primary hue like orange, red, green, and two adjacent hues next to each other on the color wheel. Analogous combinations tend to be more harmonious. Why? Because they reflect similar wavelengths of light. Monochromatic. These refers to variations of a single hue that include tints like the color plus white and shades like the color plus black. Like analogous colors, monochromatic color combinations are considered to be harmonious. This may be the reason that one color palettes are often so successful in design solutions. Triad harmonies. These are any three hues spaced equidistantly around the color wheel. Because primary and secondary colors are equidistant from each other on the color wheel, they combine to create triadic color combinations. It's always a good idea to draw a triangle inside the color wheel to find triad colors. And how you do that is that you find primary colors, red, yellow, and blue, and then you draw your triangle. Once you have it, you can rotate it for different triad combinations. Complementary hues. These are any two colors located directly opposite from each other on the color wheel. There are a total of 6 pairs of complementary colors. Complementaries have like a contradictory relationship with each other, so a color is both attracted and repelled by its complements. So I guess that this push and pull effect of the complementaries can be used as a way to attract a viewer's attention. Split complementary hues refers to a primary colors and two secondary colors that are located adjacent to the hue's complements. Like here, for example, instead of going directly to the green color, we're gonna take a left and the right hand turn to the adjacent colors of green. Tetrad combinations. These are made up of 4 hues, which are sets of complements or split complements. So you draw like a sort of a line between all the complementary colors in the color wheel, or the split complementary if you want to. You'll end up with something like this, and then you can choose from here like maybe yellow with violet and then green with red. Okay, so these are the basic rules of color relationships. Next, I want to introduce you to Johannes Itten's color wheel. But first, who is Johannes Itten? Johannes Itten is considered like the Jedi, or you can call him maybe like the Super Saiyan God of Colors. He was a master at the Bauhaus in Weimar, Germany in the 1920s. His theory was, since color relationships and outcomes are somehow predictable, much of how artists and designers use and audiences perceive color is subjective and determined by context. For Itten, studying relationship between colors and how they work in context will allow designers and artists to hone their understanding of colors and therefore make more meaningful color choices. In his book, The Element of Color, he suggested that anyone can achieve successful color solutions in 3 different ways. The first is visually, which he called impression. The second is emotionally, which he called expression. And the third is symbolically, which he called construction. Itten's color wheel includes primaries in the middle, as an indicator of how colors can be mixed to produce new hues. And it also shows the interaction between colors on the outside. Next, we're going to be designing using the color wheel and color combinations in Adobe Illustrator. So first we have hue, and you can think of hue as another term for color. So hue basically is just the place of the color within the spectrum. Intensity. Intensity refers to how much bright or dull a color is. So you make a color bright by adding whites, and you make a color dull by adding black. And if you add gray, you lower its saturation. Shades are pretty much the variation of a hue by adding black. Tints are the same thing as shades but adding white instead of black. Saturation, also called chroma, and it's the purity of a color as it neutralizes toward gray. And then we have value. You can also call it luminance or brightness. It refers to how much a specific hue is bright or dark. Graphic designers actually use value as a tool in their composition to add emphasis and establish visual hierarchy. We are going to see examples on how to do that in a moment, but it's important to note that color is stronger and independent from value. In this example, we have multiple shapes with the same gray tones, and it's blending perfectly. If I go ahead and change a gray tone to a color, notice how it really stands out from the rest. Your eyes are automatically drawn to this color. The effects of value in a composition is affected by the elements and background around it. The greater the difference is in value between these compositional elements, the more the contrast will be apparent. Therefore, this is an amazing way to achieve contrast, and contrast is very important if you are into product design. In this other example, if we take this image or any other image, turn it to black and white, you will lose its hue, but you maintain its tonal relationships. So these examples show you how much color is independent from value. Now the next question is how intense a value can be. Scientifically speaking, these are the maximum variations to the human eyes. Since the viewer's perception to color is relative, a designer can make colors seem brighter by putting them against duller tones. Next step, we'll design using just value.